This tutorial I'm going to create a book and in two versions, one with the book closed and the other with the book open. So we'll start with the book that is closed that would be put on a shelf. I'm going to be using a polygon cube and I'm going to be using the edge loop tool. So I'll start by going into my top view and I'm going to go to create polygon primitives cube. I'm going to grab a polygon that's going to define perhaps the height of the book. And I will go to my perspective view now and I'll give it a little bit of height. I'm going to return to my top view, and in the top view I'm going to use the edge loop tool. Now the edge loop tool is this tool that looks like a window frame with an orange dotted line going through it. And when I click on that, I can now introduce more geometry to this basic polygon cube. So you can see that just by clicking on a perpendicular line to the line which I wish to introduce, I can put another line defining the geometry further with more polygon faces. When it's in its brown form, I can move that path wherever I want. Now, if I want to move a path I previously created, I could right-click, choose edge, and in the case of this very simple geometry, I could double-click on any of the edges. And if we were to go to perspective view, you'll see that it's selected all the way around. Next, we're going to use the polygon extrude tool. And the polygon extrude tool is this little plane with the orange cube on it. Now, if you need to get either of these tools, you would hold down Command Shift, and under Edit Mesh, you would click on Extrude. If you wanted the Polygon Insert Edge tool, Command Shift, Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop. I'm going to select the faces on the top on either side here, and I'm Shift selecting to get both of them. I'm going to click on the Polygon Extrude tool and I'll pull up the book to the size I might want. And you can see now we've created the basic structure for this size and thickness of this book. Now I'm going to go to my object mode and I want to make the binding a little bit more realistic down here. So I'm going to get my edge loop tool once again, and I'm going to click here, another one just above it. I'll do the same on the other side. And then if I needed to be a little bit more precise, I would go perhaps to this view here, and you can see that these are not quite the same, so I'll go in and I'll adjust those edges so that they're kind of parallel across from one another. I'll double click on this one and move that one up to there. Now while I'm in this view, I'm going to go to vertexes and I'm going to click and drag here and take my scale tool to pinch it in. Now there's one other detail I want to put down here, and that is usually it's a little bit more of an arc down here rather than straight across. So I'll go up and get the edge loop tool again and I'll put an edge right here. Hit W on the keyboard to move it down, and I'll probably go in, get my vertexes with this series of vertices and these over here. I'll move that down like that. I'm going to my perspective view now. Next, I'd like to take the hard edge off all of this. So if I hit 3 on the keyboard, you can see it turns into something that I really don't desire. So I'm going to hit 1 on the keyboard and I'm going to use the edge loop tool to shore up the edges so that I do get roundness, but it maintains the shape of the book. I'll click on the edge loop tool and I'll start to add edges. And I'm going back and forth from 3 and 1 on the keyboard to introduce what the soft select might look like when it's done. I'm going to hit 1 to move that edge and also introduce another edge. So the further away the introduced new edges from the original, the rounder it is. So I'm going to make this a little bit snugger at the top. Then I'm going to get the edge loop tool, and I'm going to go around and I'm going to shore up the edges of this binder, and I'll hit 3 on the keyboard to preview what I have. I need one more edge over here. I'll hit 3. And we're in good shape here. All I need now is something to imply pages. So I'll go into the side view here. I'll hit 4. I'll hold down the space bar and go to Create, Polygon Primitives, Cube. And I'll start to introduce the footprint of the shape I roughly want. And I'll return to my perspective view, and I'll start to give it the thickness. I'm going to go to the front view, so I'm looking straight on that geometry in the context of the binder. And I'll start to customize this a bit. And usually the book pages never fall straight across like that. So I'm going to go to my object mode. I'll hit 5 on the keyboard. I'm going to put the ghost on so we can see what's going on here. Now I'll get the edge loop tool one more time, and I'll click in there and probably right click, choose vertexes, and I'll probably just pull that down a little. And you can see now, if we take a look, we've got kind of a basic book that we can use again and again. So I'll select that, hit 3 on the keyboard, and you can see now that we've made a pretty quick book.